No, you know what we should do? Start it off with a slap.
He's like slapping you.
Slap me, I'm serious.
Okay.
I just woke up.
Oh, a real slap.
I want a real slap. And get it on the mic. Oh! Welcome to the Confidently Uncertain Podcast. My name's Azero.
And my name is Nick Vick.
That actually worked really well.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, for people who don't know, I couldn't decide on the side, and I slapped both sides of his face, and I think it just gave a nice little, like, shoot up in the middle.
I just woke up from a nap, and I didn't really get to do my vocal exercise.
Yeah, you guys think he works hard? No, he actually naps for hours in a day. He hasn't done art in 2 years.
I went to my job just to go say hi.
Yeah.
That's all I did, right?
He said hi, he left, he was actually still clocked in. And he only went back just to clock out.
Oh shit, I didn't clock out yet.
Oh shit.
Oh,
well, I'll follow you with this mic.
But welcome back. Thank you for being with us
this
is episode 4.
Yeah, so I was about to say, we're now at the point in which I'm losing track of what episode number we're on.
Yeah.
So that's how long we've been doing it for right there.
That's how you know it's a habit. So that's good.
And I just want to give some people a little bit of behind the scenes info, but so on this episode, that's episode 4, this is actually the day we posted our first episode 0. I love that so much. And I call it that, and I might delve a bit further into that later, but I was like, this was honestly like a test episode, we're testing the setups, and we're going to talk about if we even want to do it. But yes, we actually, at this time of recording, just posted the first episode of Confidently Uncertain. Yes, thank you. There's a whole crowd, actually. It's our first live show.
Yep.
And yeah, it feels good,
It feels great, man. It's just something that I put into my life is we're not talking about anything and we're just doing it. You know what I mean?
It's funny because a podcast is us talking about things and doing it.
Okay, but what I
know what you mean, but the irony of that sentence.
But what I mean is like when it came out, when we posted it, it felt fulfilling because it wasn't something like, okay, we got this, now we gotta rummage through the second episode. It's like I feel calm. I feel certain. Certain that I was like, that's the second part of our name. No, but
yeah, we're not certain ever.
But
stick with the gimmick.
But I'm certain that like we'll have a consistent flow.
Oh yeah, yeah. And for another little behind the scenes type of info, so this is episode 4. Dang it! We actually have like the episodes stored up that we recorded weekly. So also with some people who message me what they want to hear more about, I'm sorry that you're not gonna get into like episode now or episode 6. Yeah, that's one thing I think about.
That was one thing I wanted to talk about on this podcast. What if we said somehow through episodes 2 through 4 we said something that we didn't even know was controversial?
Oh yeah.
Right? On episode 2, it's like change that #fuck on Confidently Uncertain, and we post the other one looking like some ignorant bastard.
And then like people talk about it, it's like, and they had the gall to just do the next episode without even addressing the controversy.
All right,
but yes. So I think I would like to share this because, I think anyone who is like put a lot of work into something, we all feel these nerves, of course, because like you look at something for so long and then you think like, well, I don't know if this is good anymore, because now I'm sick of it and I know the ins and outs and I know what could have been adjusted. And I something we said after posting it was we both thought that episode was our worst episode.
The absolute worst.
Yeah. And that was another reason why, like, I called it episode 0 because I was, like, insecure. I was like, I want to make people know that if they didn't like it, it's technically not the first episode. That was a trial.
Oh, man.
But I actually, because it was, like, again, we're, like, just starting off. We were still figuring it out. And I was just...
Right.
I felt okay about it. Even, like, us trying to, like, open up about, like, our own personalities and trying to, like, act like we're not retelling each other things we already talked about. So I was like, oh man, I wish we didn't start with this episode, but you just got to do it. I just felt like we recorded it. It introduced us. We had to get it out there. And so I posted on Facebook and Instagram. We actually do not get that much traction at first. It's still a picture of me and Kat, period, will always get the most likes, and I will compare that to every piece of work I do. All right, I'm like, there was one time I actually thought like, okay, so for my short film Hyde, how can I get Kat in the advertisement? How can I get me and Kat being a couple in an advertisement for Hyde or something, you know? But yeah, so we didn't get too much traction. It wasn't like, oh, people were, it's not like the likes were going off the rails and crazy. But then something happened after work. And I should note that I also just assumed like, oh, people weren't caring about this. People, and if they did care, they weren't liking it.
Both of us are feeling that way. I was like, oh wow, what's up? Great. It's in my mind like I'm thinking of like how stupid I sound.
Mm-hmm.
You know how stupid I sound in the podcast, and uh, it like the whole when I saw that message like it's live, it's like here you fucking go.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's funny you say that because you actually gave me the heart emoji, but you weren't feeling that at all. Now we know you're a fucking liar.
I am a liar.
Yeah.
But that was I don't know. I didn't think thumbs up was appropriate for that. I wanted to sound more excited.
Yeah, because a thumbs up, I won't
'Cause
lie.
you
I
put a
know
lot
I
of
know
hard
what the
work.
thumbs up means, but there's sometimes I tell you something and I actually just see you. The only thing you say is like a thumbs up, like, oh yeah, you got it. And it could be something like, dude, that film, it fucking took me 2 months, 3 months of editing, and it's finally out there. And it's like a thumbs up, like, yeah. It's like, all right, I'll fuck off, okay.
When was the last time I
Yeah.
did that? I'm more careful about that now.
Yeah.
Yeah, when was the last time I did that?
Yesterday.
When was that? What did I say?
I was like,
What
we
did you
have
do?
our social media all set up, everything's looking good, and then I told you the plan of how we're gonna post it, and you went, ding, like thumbs up, like.
All right.
Yeah.
So what else am I supposed to say?
Oh no, that's what's the thing. It's not even a problem. It's a me problem.
Okay.
Because what would you say instead? Okay, I message you like even all the time with updates, like every 10 minutes, especially while editing. But let's move forward from this. So then comes like after work, and there was this guy, and I don't know if I'm supposed to like say the name, so you know who you are. But he was somebody who commented that he was gonna give it a listen, and that also gave me nerves because like, oh shit, he hasn't said anything back. What if he gave it a listen? And then he's like, oh, this is bad, you know? But then he personally messaged me, and he just wanted to tell me like he thought it was very interesting, and even like he's just very happy and excited that I'm still doing what I talked about doing years ago, like working not just on this podcast but on film and pretty much experimenting with these things. And it was very uplifting for me that this person I haven't talked to in years gave me that message. Like there was no obligation to. Yeah, I haven't seen him so long. But he did, and it meant so much to me. And then right after reading that message and responding to him, I get another message from, and you know who you are, but there was somebody who saw me in a show I performed in, and they just really liked my performance. We talked more, we exchanged social medias, and they messaged me too, just saying the same things. And I was just like, oh, I find it so interesting, but saying how much they relate to it because they are also artists working full time as well at another job. And I should also mention the person before her said it was relatable as well, saying it was like relatable for people outside of art because everybody's has a dream they're trying to achieve, and feeling like it gets hard to do when you have to put that extra work in while still going to work.
Right, because life will always get in the way no matter what you do. No matter who you are, life will always get in the way somehow. So and at this point in our lives right now, that takeover in a sense is still a huge priority. Like we still have to make money, we still have to wake up early for our jobs and so on and so forth. So yeah, a lot of our friends are in that situation. And to add on to that, I had a very very nice teacher of mine from middle school, you know who you are, messaged me and just told
It's me, isn't it?
middle school. But
Well, okay, fine.
But she messaged me, and she was telling me how like how proud how proud she was of me. And like you saying this and me having like these type of things, it isn't a lot. Like it isn't like a crap load of comments saying like
Yeah.
do more, do more, do more. But it just goes to show, like from those little comments that we got, you were telling me about it, how giddy we got, like how excited we got to do more.
Yeah.
And that makes a huge impact for us artists. Like huge. It's very uplifting. And again, this we thought this was gonna be our shittiest episode. That was our shittiest episode.
Yeah.
Right? And people liked it. People related.
It makes us go like, well, shit. Wait till they see how it only gets better from here. You know?
Yeah.
And you know that's we share this story because we just want to let you know, like, for those people, whatever you're doing, whatever your passion is, there are people who support you, and you'll be surprised who they are. Like more than what you could think of, beyond just your like closest friends and your family. There are people supporting you, and they're probably like amazed by what you're doing. And for people who like, when you like somebody's work, when you tell them,
Right.
tell them that's gonna mean a lot if you tell them.
Yeah, I recently with my own art, I've had that too. Like there was a painting that I recently did. Follow me at art of Azero. But there was it was I still have a name for it, but it was the most recent one, and I'm gonna talk about that painting in a little bit further on. But Kat actually commented like do more of this stuff, and that meant a lot to me. Not only because like she actually went all the way to say that on the comment, right? That specific character is intended and catered to someone like her. So this character is biracial. You know, this character will have a story that has like a moralistic standards to her.
What are you saying? Realistic?
Moralistic?
Oh, moralistic. I thought you were saying moralistic.
Moralistic.
And now I feel like why didn't I just put it together as moralistic?
Is that a thing? Moralistic, right? Moralistic? Is that a thing?
Moralistic? I mean, are you
Like-
trying
like-
to say she has morals? Like she's a good person?
Well, like her whole backstory.
Like, I don't know if it's a thing now. You're making me doubt myself. But hey, if you guys want to like, you know, tell us in the comments, define words for us, because we're not gonna Google
I want it
it.
to sound smarter, okay?
Yeah.
I'm doing all this vocal warm up, right? I'm still doing my vocal warm up, so I had to use moral.
I'm actually gonna have to slap him again in 10 minutes, just to like refresh him.
It just goes back to the introduction.
Yeah.
Hello, welcome to the.
Yeah, we're gonna hear you slowly drain too, but like, and when I go working on the art piece, and
But yeah, so there was more to it than just like that support. It had meaning behind it, and it gave me motivation. You know, also for Lifeguard 101. Like when people are like, "Oh my goodness, this is the best one yet," or like, "Do more of these." Like that makes any artist day. I'm pretty sure you get that same like euphoria from like your previous like, but wait, there's more, like Sully Burke and all that. I'm pretty sure.
when you make these things, you just think like, I just hope I at least impress my friends. You know, I don't put a family there because I'm like, I think at most I'm going to confuse my family with this stuff. Like I like my favorite response from like a family member was just, "Oh, well, that's nice," you know. But when I see like it's reaching further than that, and even like on when I did my first video, but wait, there's more. There was somebody who commented on YouTube saying how someone else showed them. I didn't even know them. They're like, "Hey, such and such showed me this. I think it's amazing. You got great stuff." And yeah, it was just like knowing that not only am I getting these like compliments, but there's people showing my work. They're sharing it, like, because they enjoy it and they want other people to enjoy it, and that's like real support right there. And to think about how like years later I still get people who talk about it with me, that says a lot. It says like it's sticking with people.
Oh, and to add on to that, what I also really love is when people who you really like look up to, or like who you really respect as another artist, likes your stuff and like really emphasizes it.
I'm glad you feel that way when I like your stuff. You know, we don't have to hide anymore. I support you. You don't have to call me your 7th grade teacher anymore. You know.
You really want to make it all about you, don't you?
It is my podcast.
Oh,
Take another look next time. Next time you go on YouTube, you're gonna see you're cropped out.
I'm cropped out.
And because
so
of that,
just-
we're gonna be called the like Confit Unsert podcast because I just
so
cut
it's
it in
gonna be
half.
one of those MS Paint like crops.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be like a blank square.
Yeah.
Like without me, and you're like just
Just
pointing
point
at
at no
nothing.
one. I'm pointing at the audience. You know.
Yeah, you're pointing at the.
I'll tell people like, oh, a fan drew this.
a fan.
Yeah.
But no, again, since I came from Academy of Art, and I said this before, like there's a lot of my friends who are very talented and very I know that they're gonna go places, and then when they actually go like my stuff, it's like whoa, like it almost feels like like a celebrity liked your stuff,
Yeah.
in a sense.
Mhm.
You know, like someone that you really admire and respect a lot, they just really go out of the way to appreciate it.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you had that regarding to like your classmates and your peers, like we were talking about not too long ago. I mean, well, do you have that? Like, do you have anyone in your I don't know. Film
Anyone
group?
like in my film group, there hasn't been someone, and not to sound like mean here, but I was like, I guess like saying like I can never like they're on a whole different level than me. I usually saw us like all the same level.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when they support me, it's still great, but it's not like a celebrity, and I go like, oh, me.
But overall, if you're not one of those, it doesn't matter. Bottom line is, and I believe everyone
I
can
did have that actually. There was one person in my class I really liked their film work, and then they came up to me at the class saying they want to work on something together. Yeah, and that was the
There
time
we
I
go.
gushed. Never mind. So I do have a story. Yeah,
Oh,
but I was like,
not everything's about you then, huh?
we could always connect it back. Even if I could
Okay.
just lie if it doesn't connect to me.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. You're the shit, Nick. You made this podcast. This is yours.
Oh man,
Alright.
I'm just gonna loop that. It's gonna be so great.
You're
just-
gonna make a remix about it.
No, just a loop. Like, you got this. It's yours. You're the shit. It's your podcast. You got this. You're the shit.
You got this.
No,
you got this.
I'll just make
you
it like
got
my
this.
sleep aid. When I go to sleep, I was like, oh, this is what I need, And when I wake up too, and I'm prepping myself in the mirror, I don't have to say it to myself anymore.
I hate that. Anyways, I was gonna say, even if you're not like an artist or anything like that, what we just said, long story short, your support means everything
Mm-hmm.
to every artist out there. They can relate so well.
And probably to anyone.
Anyone.
If you really like them, if you give anyone a compliment, they're gonna love it.
Mhm.
They know, if you remind someone through any type of comment that they have another ally and another person supporting them, they're gonna love it.
And like the ones that go above and beyond to even say like, even like, for example, with your stuff, to say like what they like about it rather than just like, oh, good job, like kind of
like give a thumbs up.
yeah. I never do that. Whenever it's with your stuff, I go into detail.
No, you do. I'm just saying in the Facebook Messenger.
In the Facebook Messenger, I really like how you worded this paragraph and you said, I finished it.
Well, it's more like, thanks, Nick. How about that? How about when I say, oh, I've been in here for hours setting up on social media, making sure the videos are finally touched.
Oh,
It
man.
could just be a simple, thank you.
I'm gonna.
Not a, oh yeah, you're good job.
Alright, you're gonna get something. You're gonna get something.
You're gonna send me a
man.
paragraph.
I'm gonna send you like
You-
a paragraph.
It just depends what it is. If I say like, oh hey, let's meet at 7:00, you can just give a thumbs up. I got you.
Do you know what happens at 7:00? The sun goes down, and so does all my stress whenever I see you. So yes, I will hang out with you at 7:00.
That's gonna be the example of
That's
it.
gonna be
Yeah.
something like that.
Okay, let's I want to get a little update on something because
Mhm.
last podcast you said you were trying a new technique. Can you remind us what that was?
Yeah. So basically, I wanted to time my schedule for each of my projects. So I'd be working on an hour a project. So I kind of use 3 as reference.
Mm-hmm.
The final conclusion It didn't work. It didn't work. Yeah, here's why. Here's why.
You know, we got people who were very eager for a whole week.
I know. Okay, so
I mean, it was an attempt. So
it was
like,
an attempt.
It's not like any of our audience members could just assume you'll make it like it's one of those happy ending movies.
Well, something good came out of it. Okay, something good came out of it. But let me explain
the process. Why do you say it didn't work?
So the first day I did it, which was the next day after we recorded, I started the timer and I started painting. Now, for a while it was fine, right? You know, you're just going into a groove. But then you're like kind of for a little bit you just start thinking about the time.
Mm-hmm.
And after you start thinking about the time, it's kind of like a virus. Like it's like, okay, I got to check how much time. 25 minutes. Okay. All right. So okay, I'm going to keep working on this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And after an hour's done, right? There's a portion where you still like that's when you start getting into it, right? That's when you start getting into this project that you're working on, cuz sometimes you just have to keep going, and then you start getting into like this vortex of like creativity.
Mm-hmm.
But nonetheless, I started another hour on another project. Same thing. I just kept looking at the time. I just kept getting distracted.
Was there ever a time you were like, you want to be done with the painting?
Yes.
And then you look like, I had to do it for 15 more minutes.
Right. It's for the views, man. For the podcast. No, like what I got from it throughout the whole week, it was pretty much like that until instead of focusing on the time, I actually kind of cheated a little. I focused on steps. So, for example, Lifeguard 101. I focused on inking for until it's done. And then after I'm done inking, then I go to an illustration. Okay, for this one, I'm gonna just do the sketch. Just get the composition down. After I'm done with the composition, I go back to Lifeguard 101. I do the local colors, right? And so on and so forth.
So you weren't doing it like one project per hour. You were just switching steps.
Yeah.
That's more than just cheating. You changed the whole game.
I did, but
you came in, you weren't winning Monopoly, so you said, "All right, you guys, like midway, you win. Let's play Connect 4."
And then afterwards,
look, I'm winning now.
Something good came from this, all right?
Yeah.
At the end,
there we go. I connected 4. Now I own Park Place.
Pay up the mortgage. So I should have known that going with a timer isn't something that I really do, just in general. I don't like doing that. So I kind of ditched that. And here's the thing about the step-to-step method. I actually got more stuff done in a quicker pace. I actually finished the illustration in like a day and a half, right? And that's not in a row. That's just like taking breaks and all that, doing that, which would usually last me a week. Not even because like it takes long to paint a painting. It's just that's how it usually pans out. But now that I had a goal in mind, now that I had like, okay, I'm gonna go step-by-step process and I'm gonna make sure that I follow this, it worked out so much better, to the point where now I'm so ahead of schedule that it's almost like I have so much, I feel like I have more free time.
Oh.
So it's just very interesting. So it was a downfall. It was downfall regarding to the experiment, but I got something from it.
So would you say it affected like your end result? Do you feel like it affected the finished project?
Yeah, in a way, yeah. I felt much less pressured. You know, I felt much less. I felt like this was a creative process rather than like a regiment.
So doing the time one, had you discovered the step-by-step one, and now you're now more efficient.
Exactly, the step-by-step one.
And you're having fun.
And I'm having fun.
Well, you got the best of both worlds.
2 birds and 1 stone.
Yep.
2 birds in 1 stone, or is it 2 birds for 1?
It's kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
Kill 2 birds with 1.
I'm not 100% sure.
Tomato.
Okay. Not 100% sure if you've been using the right context since.
Well, I mean, fun and efficient. Okay. 2 birds with 1 stone.
I think you more say when you're like, oh, look at that! I cleaned the floor and I found money. I don't know.
But that's also two birds.
Whatever. That's not the Two Birds, One Stone podcast, all right? I'm pretty sure we all know it, okay?
Two birds.
Hey, you know what?
One
If you're
stoner.
really having trouble figuring out the metaphor, everybody, catch us every Tuesday. We release the metaphor podcast, in which we actually like delve further into metaphors.
By we, he actually means him. Because he owns this podcast, so he's in charge of the other podcast.
Okay, so now you're choosing the opt out of the podcast.
Well, I mean, I didn't choose. You just kind of put me on the spot. So
you
now I'm going to.
I was testing you to fight.
Oh, so now you're like an abusive. We're like an abusive relationship. It's an ultimatum thing.
I am a wise master.
You're a wise master.
Look, it's like when it's like you have learned nothing. Leave my temple, and then like you fight back into the temple. You defeat all my guards, and I'm like, you defeated all my guards. You have learned, and then I give you my sword.
Here's the thing. I see that a lot of TV shows. Yeah. What if it backfires? Oh shit! You killed him. You killed him. Oh, dude, you're supposed to like fucking punt him a little. You're not supposed to actually.
Oh, you mean like I thought you were just gonna fight them, not kill them? Wow.
Yeah. Well, it's like there's like sometimes in TV shows like like a character's walking through like a forest or something. This is like an example, and then a guy like starts attacking him, boom, 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 and right when they get cornered, like, you son of a bitch, ha 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 ha, what's going on? So
that cliche, you're thinking of that one.
Yeah, I'm thinking of that cliche, and it's like, what if it goes totally like south, and it's like he stabs him in the neck, like, oh, Gerald, I'm sorry, and it's like, I never got that cliche. I actually found it really, really overplayed. I don't like it.
Yeah, it's just supposed to, I guess, give that surprise.
Yeah, but like that also, my logical sense gets me thinking about that. You know, it's like, like imagine if you came out and punched me, right? And I fall in the street,
and I say,
and then like,
what's up?
You son of a bitch.
I have like 5 minutes around here. It's like, huh? So it really is you.
Yeah.
I recognize a bitch falling like that after a punch.
You couldn't just said hi.
No, man, that's not how I play. That's not this character.
But yeah. So basically, that's my technique now.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna, starting that actually gets me more curious about other ways I could improve too. You know, like even like learning, right? I always want to learn editing. I wonder if I can kind of find a way to implement that into my schedule, quote unquote, and have that like almost like step-by-step process. Like, okay, I'll watch this YouTube video today, and then tomorrow another YouTube video regarding to like Illustrator or something like that.
Yeah.
You know? So because it seems like everything's on YouTube now, and everything's like really easy to access. So I could probably learn like Adobe Premiere and like master it in like a week. Like that's how
confident you are.
Yeah.
All right.
Have you seen
master it?
Master
it means you don't just know it. It means you know how you implement it and know how to experiment with it.
Yes, because Photoshop didn't take long for me to master.
Okay.
Right. Like it's there's so many.
Take that challenge? We can mark a week right now.
See, here's the thing though. I tried downloading Premiere. Yeah. I got the blue screen of death.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's how bad it was. So I can't do it on my.
Looks like you can't do it in a week. You got to go through the blue screen.
Gotta go through the blue screen.
I'm gonna actually ask you. I'm gonna ask you again. Next week I'll be like, so how'd it go? And you'll be like, it blue screen on me again. It's like, look at that, you failed the challenge.
But you didn't hear? I got a blue screen. I heard you failed the challenge. But no, I want to try something like that because there's so many things I want to learn, like even animation, and I feel like I can. I feel like I can do it. There's so much time for me to do that, and I know I'm gonna get busy way later if I don't take advantage of it. I actually wanted to talk about habits.
Habits?
Yes, habits. So
damn your face when you shot at like yes, habits. You know it.
Don't change the subject. Well,
you heard me right. I didn't say Nabbit, the character from Mario.
Is that an actual character?
Yes.
What's that?
Yeah, it's Nabbit. It's literally just it nabs things from you. See, I already did a good job. You were like, well, yes, we are going to talk about habits, and now we're talking about habits.
Wait, what's in that? Seriously, what is?
I'm dead serious. Stop thinking I'm fucking with you 24/7.
I'm not saying you're fucking me.
23/6.
No, I'm serious. I'm serious. What is in that bit? Which one is in that bit?
It's literally a purple thing. It's a new character.
Okay, so
you
it's
don't
new.
know
Okay,
it.
so it's new.
That's what I was trying to tell you. Like, you don't know it. It's not important.
Okay.
This isn't the podcast.
I guess, but I'm just like, I didn't know. Whatever, man. Everyone's playing fucking Mario Maker. And I don't.
It's not from Mario
game.
Maker, but okay.
Oh, it's not?
You're sounding so old right now. You know,
What about?
You just think every game is the one popular game, like everyone's playing Crash Bandicoot
like
in the
Mario-
Mario Maker. Okay, so what do you want to talk about with habits?
So
It's like habits in work or what?
yeah, habits during like the creation, because also to add on to this kind of test run for this schedule, I don't use reference a lot, and I feel like I should.
Reference like
yeah, like looking at other arts, like actually like getting reference for like some props, or like reference for like facial expressions.
Mm-hmm.
It's so easy to overcome just by fucking looking at it, but my stubborn ass like, no, I got this, no, I know what to do. And it's so infuriating because like it's so elementary.
Yeah,
I hate it.
Oh,
right?
Do you find it being a longer process?
It does, yeah, because it's like it doesn't look right, and then I have to go back, and then that's when I look at the reference, and it's like, because the process, how it should be by textbook term is you actually take your time and study before the sketch, right? Now the thing about me, again, I'm impatient. If I have an idea, I just do it, right? And usually works out really well, but it's like my weaknesses is like faces. Everyone loves
like that
faces.
time you drew yourself repeatedly.
Exactly, because
you only
it's
know
always
your face.
fucking me, right? And it took me a long time to get rid of that, but that's what I mean. Like, it's just it could have been easier. I could have drawn the real Ryu for the show instead of myself.
Wait, did you not actually look at a picture of Ryu when drawing that?
I did, but I thought it looked like him.
Wait, oh damn, oh shit.
Yeah, and
you had a picture right next to you while doing it, and you still drew yourself.
But
I feel like you actually pulled up a picture of yourself, and then you're like, yeah, that's Ryu.
Or maybe
yeah, look at it. I got a sexier Ryu.
Maybe it's just because I identify with him so much that I wanted to be him.
How do you identify with him?
You know,
the characters are just, I want to be the strongest fighter.
He has a goal.
A lot of people have a goal. That's called a character arc.
He's sexy as fuck.
Characters are usually passionate. Every fighting game character in that game is sexy as fuck. And also, depending on what you're into, all of them.
Oh, okay. Well, he has muscle.
It just sound like you want to have sex in it. Now that I think about it, you just talk about his body.
He probably has a giant cock.
I mean, you probably drew one when you were drawing him.
Yeah. Oh, no, thanks for revealing that.
No, it wasn't a secret, really, for anyone who saw it.
No one's seen it. I didn't even post it.
That one. All right, let me talk about the Ryu you drew for that art show. Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. You're drawing your face on Ryu again on your second attempt at Ryu?
No, you saw it. So now it's up in the air anyway.
I didn't see it.
What?
You never showed me your Ryu.
Yeah, I didn't?
No, you did not.
Oh,
I was referencing the other one.
I'll show you.
So now that you're like,
I just doxed myself.
Yeah, now that you said probably has a big cock, you're drawing him. Yeah.
There are no cocks. Okay.
Of course you would say that now.
There's no cocks.
I go.
It's like, I'll be right back, Nick. I just like start like.
There's just a white patch on his groin.
It's just a square. Kind of like the MS Edit. No, but yeah. So it's just something that I need to get.
See, that sounds like a real habit. You purely draw yourself instead.
Okay.
Like you're unintentionally doing it.
I don't do it anymore, though, do I?
No, not that I've seen recently. But the art drawings you draw and people think it's you.
Okay, when was that happen? When did that happen recently?
It's randomly. I can't think on top of my head. If you want me to go on Instagram right now, I could probably find one in which I'm like, maybe this one. You know?
It's like, that's my profile picture. Maybe. If you said maybe on that, I'd feel sad because that was supposed to be me.
You know, it's funny when we think about like accidentally putting ourselves in it. I find myself always struggling not to just write myself when writing a story, like making it myself, you know?
You do write characters. You do write some characters that are supposed to be you, like the Odd Job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it my mind's going blank.
It's Jorge.
Jorge,
He's
there
like
we
the
go.
comic relief, the goofiest
All right.
one. And but the thing is, they say write what you know, and of course, you're not gonna. You do have a connection with each character you write, not just because you created them, but because like yes, you got that personality, inspiration from you to like yourself, or you get it from other people too.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's always one character that ends up being you, and if you write a character long enough, at one point, whoever you took the inspiration for, you're looking at that character like, huh. What would they do? What would I want them to do? And then maybe you think, what would I do?
Right.
But I think there's definitely one in each. I think like the script I'm writing right now has both characters basically being a little bit of me.
You're talking about noise?
Yeah, the noise.
Okay.
And there's also this problem in which I'm so afraid of a character being me that I see a character being bland. Like you put a lot of
just insecurity.
because that's me also.
That's
Yeah,
you as well.
but it's kind of like okay, if I was looking back at the script I'm writing now called The Noise, there's two characters in it, and one, I mean, when I was writing them, I first wanted the male character to be like me, but I was like, no, but not like me, but I want him to be like, I want him to make like jokes and be kind of witty and like, if I'm writing him jokes, I'm writing jokes I would find funny. I'm writing jokes how I would deliver them, and anyways, I was trying to make sure like no, not exactly. So I kind of made him like a bit more awkward. But it's still like I remember I wrote a joke and I was like, I have said this joke before, like he called alcohol during it in the script magic worm juice, and I was like, I called it magic worm juice.
Totally.
And so then I'm writing the female character, the one he's on a date with, and I found her like actually this is a funny little a train it took. But basically I'm writing her and I'm like, okay, I want them to be a perfect match. But I don't want to make them both literally me, like it's just like magic worm juice. I say that too. Wow, we're meant to be. So I was like, well, who's a match for me? And I started thinking of my girlfriend. And so I'm writing the character and I'm like, oh fuck, wait, this is just Cat now. And that's not bad. But I was like, I don't want Cat reading this to be like, this is me,
What's wrong with that then?
Nothing's wrong with it. I just wouldn't want any character to be exactly the other person, because I guess it's like an immersion thing. If someone's watching the movie, I don't want them thinking about someone else. I want them to think of those characters there.
I get what you're saying, but I feel like I mean, did you first start writing it and then you noticed it was like Cat? Or did that happen, or was that an example?
No, this was happening. It was, I described her outfit.
Okay.
And the way she dresses is like Cat. And that's not something I have a problem with. But I didn't want the date to be exactly like I'm just recreating mine and Cat's date.
Right.
Because I felt like it just would have gave a different story going on. And again, I always looked at it as like Cat reading this, and then once she would catch on pretty fast. Oh, this is just me, and it will stick with you that the story. That even though she's one person, and I'm planning to show this to many people, I don't want her whole experience to be, oh, this is me and that's you. Even going a bit further, imagine like the first 5 pages and it's like, this is obviously, say like you were reading it and you're like, this is obviously me, me Azero. And then if I write something that's not you could potentially get offended because you're like, what, do you think I do that? I'm like, no, that's not you,
Yeah,
but you made everything else pretty much me. Look, you made him wide set, buff, dark skin, wears tank tops, you made him me, so it's just like I would definitely take inspiration from people, but I want to make them my own character too. I mean, it's even like when you think of someone writing a story inspired by a true story. It's inspired. It's not exactly the true story. So you have some fun with it. You play around with it.
But do you find that a little bit like, if you're going out of your way to not make it like someone, is that limiting, or is that something that like because if you made a role that's that feels exactly like someone you know and it works perfectly, would you
No,
try to?
I wouldn't change it.
Okay, so that's what I was going.
I would
was
not
thinking
change it.
of.
If things are feeling good, they're feeling good, and I
Right.
won't make any rule for myself because I literally went into about how there should be
Exactly,
no rules
yeah.
in the creativity.
Uh huh.
But it's more like asking myself, like, is there a way I can make this a new character, technically, you know? Because when you write a character, there should be this feeling that they are a person on their own. As if you wrote a letter as that character, someone would believe this was a real person that wrote the letter and they could tell you what that person's like. That's the type of goal I kind of have with it. So someone could be like extremely similar to somebody I know, take inspiration, but I don't want them to just be them. I guess it's just like the question I ask myself when writing is like, well, how can I make this a bit different, you know? Even for me, when I'm watching it, if if I'm writing it, if I'm reading it, or like watching the film, I don't want to watch it and just be like, yeah, that's me, and that's me also, you know? Like, oh, that's exactly what I would do. Like, I write kind of letting these characters run themselves sometimes, and to find myself like when I think of it, I'm almost like, that's shocking. Why would they do that? But I'm gonna make them do that, you know?
But I kind of see where you're coming from in the sense like you don't want like all your characters to kind of represent you because there's like a lot of sketch artists that I kind of watch on YouTube that like there's always that one character that's exactly like them
Yeah.
outside of like real life, and it kind of takes you out of like the zone like well
Yeah.
he's just putting himself there.
I kind of
It's like
think,
it's almost over. It's overplayed even in the dialogue that they do and all that. It's like,
but it would be like the easiest character for them to write.
yeah,
You know?
yeah.
I mean, then also with that, imagine if I made myself a character. And it's like I had to really look at myself if I ever want to show the flaw in this character. But like, imagine if like the main character and he's always writing, he's the perfect character, and they're like, that's fucking Nick. What are you trying to say? You know? But it's
Hence The Room.
What do you mean, The Room?
I mean The Room, like the movie The Room. Because you know how
like Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah, Tommy Wiseau, like he made himself into like a perfect character.
Yeah, nothing wrong with him. And his name's also Tommy. I think of like in regular show when Mordecai. Now this isn't about like portrayal so much, but it was like the creator didn't change his voice at all for Mordecai. And then when I hear the creator talk, I'm like, oh, he sounds just like Mordecai. And then I watch the show and I'm like, now I keep thinking of the fucking creator, you know? Like I just think of him being like on top of it. And I'm not saying it ruins the show, but it's kind of like, could they have taken like a step further in voice acting, you know? Because sometimes, your voice is perfect for it. Keep it just like that. But it's like, could you have changed it a bit? And then I don't look and say, that's the creator talking, and I see a blue bird. You're just like, this is Mordecai. This is Mordecai's voice. This is who Mordecai is. They're a different person. I want to compare them to anyone else.
I get what you're saying. Like imagine if the Joker was just like just a straight like
it was just Mark Hamill's straight up voice. Yeah, he changed it up. There was not a real person that sounds like the Joker naturally.
Right, and that's what makes him distinct.
So distinct, yes. When you hear that voice, you know it's a Joker's voice.
So you kind of want to replicate that same feeling with your characters, right? No one can necessarily exactly replicate this character and its personality and all that, but it stands out by itself, and you're kind of watching from a distance rather than like. I guess like if someone like were to relate to a character, it'd just be only to the limit of relatable, not that's me.
Yeah, that does not. I don't want anyone comparing it. Now I will say it does. It's not that you can never do it. It's not that it's a bad idea, because there's Genie, who's basically just Robin Williams, and you fucking love that. But you also just love any Robin Williams performance when he goes all out, you know? Like, acts like a cartoon character. So that's why, again, I'm saying this, and it's not saying I will never do it. It's not saying you shouldn't do it. It's just saying, like, well, is there a way I can make this different? Hell, they didn't make the Genie exactly like Robin Williams, you know? But definitely heavily influenced, you know? But he definitely... When I see Genie, you know?
Yeah.
So I can't delve too much. I can't say specifically what it is, but they made Genie while still making Genie Robin Williams' personality and character.
All right, here's the thing, then. Do you plan on making a script in which involves yourself and yourself? Like your personality and all that?
So that's actually was going to be the next thing I was going to say.
Okay.
So where it would be wise to make a character that's exactly like somebody you know is if you want them to have an easy time acting that as that character. And they encourage this when I was taking film classes, that if you don't know actors, then you should write characters who are extremely similar to your friends, because a friend will definitely volunteer to act in your movie.
Yeah.
But how good of a job they do, they have no acting experience, they won't. And if you ask them to be a completely different character, they're gonna struggle with them.
Yeah.
But if you ask them to basically be themselves, it would be a lot easier for them. You don't end up, they don't have, because like acting, when you have your character, you don't say like who can I think of, like what's his name? He plays Captain America. Chris Evans. Chris Evans, for example, he doesn't go into a role as Captain America and think, well, what was Chris Evans do? How would Chris Evans react? How would he say this? He says, like, how would Captain America react? And he's playing as Captain America. And that's challenging to get someone who's not an actor to understand exactly what the steps are to go, like, no, stop being Azero. You're Greg. And it's like, stop responding like Azero. It's like, just make it easy on your friends. Like, this character Greg is basically you, so you deliver whatever feels natural with you. And it is this like plot I have for a film that I've actually been thinking about a lot more often, and I mentioned it to you before, but it is one that when I was writing the characters, I was taking very heavy influence on you, me, and our two other housemates. And I felt the thing that would carry the film the most would be the interactions between all four of them. And it should really come off that they've been friends for years, that they're very close friends. And I thought the best way to get that would be to actually have you guys play those characters. Because I wanted the direction to be almost like caught in the moment. What do they call it? Like it's documentary style almost, found footage, that's it. And that the story really just gets carried by seeing their interactions. I knew how much work it would be to like hire like 4 actors and basically get them to the steps of being us. And knowing it would take a lot longer. And also depending like, well, who can I really get? What quality type of actor can I get? So I kind of like, even when I was trying to write it, I was having trouble because I was like, I want this to feel like natural conversation. How do I make this not feel like anything's like scripted? And how do I know exactly how they will respond? Like, how do I get exactly them? I don't want them being one-sided characters. And I've been thinking about this. I remember writing the script and then finally like giving up because I didn't even know how I wanted the main character to introduce themselves. And then I started thinking about it again months later, and I was like, in all honesty, if I just couldn't get you guys, I wouldn't make the film. Especially because I see it's so like inspired by this even household. Like I see it in a house like this. I see it with people like you guys. So it's like, why don't I just go get them? So that is the one in which I'm like, it would have to be them, yeah. And even better about it though is that you guys all aren't actors, and this is actually a way to do film called realism. And one technique they do is they hire non-actors for it comes off more realistic. No one says I've seen them in this movie, and no one would see them in that movie, another movie again.
Right. I feel like the only downside to that technique is, since like have you ever had that feeling of like, oh, camera's on you, so like now you start thinking about the process step by step. If it's like, okay, just interact how you normally interact, the whole time everyone's gonna be thinking, oh shit, there's a camera there, I gotta say something, gotta say something that I would say.
But it's not just like that.
So how'd it be?
Okay, well now I feel like I'm just doing my elevator pitch here. But basically it would be like, I was actually thinking the best way to write this would be like to know exactly how to direct you guys with minimal direction. Because if you tell someone, hey, walk to this room, they're gonna walk to the room. But then we start saying to them like, "Oh, you went too fast. Walk slower." They're now thinking like, "Okay, walk slower." Now they're feeling on the spot more. And if I keep adding stuff, so it's like walk slower. It's like, okay, you walked slower, you did, but you look too cautious now, you know. So loosen up a bit. Do some stretches or something. Okay, now and the longer you spend on it, the longer it's gonna become like for someone who's on an active, be like more of that pressure. Like, oh man, I didn't do it right the first time. Oh, I didn't do it right the second time. Okay, you gotta remember all these things. It could be the two things, but it could be a lot for someone who, like even you said, isn't used to the camera, isn't used to being filmed. And it's not like I officially written anything down, but thinking about it more crucially of like for each one of these people, I would have to know how they work. And even looking back when I was trying to write the story, I was like, I can't quite figure out what I want them to say exactly. It's just like if I really wanted this story to happen exactly the way I wanted with the people I want, I would have to like, they're coming. They're not breathing again. But it would be like I would have to like loosen up on the story. Like I would know what type of moments I would want to hit, but I know I can't control entirely how I want things said word for word. Because it's another thing. Having them memorize scripts would be another thing. Another thing. Because memorizing lines, it's like, well, memorizing lines is hard, and then you have to think of how you're going to act the lines. That's another step, and it's an entirely new process.
And then it's like directing those lines is another thing, because it's like you can say something, but it's like, okay, but it's not believable. You got to do it again, right? Like, I remember that so well.
Imagine not just you have to memorize something, but you have to memorize exactly how you are supposed to perform it, and remember exactly how you should be feeling on the inside.
I remember this was a long time ago. We were doing a project called Our Next Video. And I was playing a character in which like it was like a very exaggerated version of myself or myself, right?
Yeah, we all play like variations of ourselves. You know, I just came off talking about this, but literally the video was about us, me and Azero and another person who we worked on, but there's more with, and it was just like it was just about us, like what do we do after that video and how we like do a creative process. I feel like every starting filmmaker wrote a script like that at one point and tried to film it.
Or you're trying to convince yourself that every filmmaker
no, it is. I remember there was like even a list saying what not to do, like what has been done before online. It's like a story about someone writing a story. You know, it was one of the cliches of like a starting filmmaker.
Really? I actually don't see that often.
You don't see it often, but it gets pitched a lot in film class.
Oh, but it has never been followed through.
Not many times has been followed through. So like you know,
so
like I always
say, still an original idea.
A good story. It's not original idea. It could be original final product.
Sorry, original final product. There we go.
But also there are films out there about making films, like the disaster
documentaries.
Yeah. No, that's not what I'm talking about. But you were saying about when you were doing acting.
Well, yeah,
you were playing yourself.
I do remember like you telling me, yeah, it's like an exaggerated version of yourself. But that didn't. I guess like back then, it just didn't. It still didn't help me because we were all new to it, right?
Yeah.
You were new to directing. I was new to acting, all that stuff. I'm still not an actor, but.
Even though you technically acted in more films than me.
I know, right? But mine were like very minor. I think off the top of my head, okay, Sully Burke. There was
Sully Burke was your lead role that people still know you for.
Oh man!
And people still like consider my best work.
Yeah, and you
got people asking you to act in their projects.
Oh, and then
so you got praise for your acting.
Real quick on a side tangent. Okay, so that Sully Burke won kind of like an award, right?
It won Audience Choice Award.
Yeah, Audience Choice Award. Everyone was coming up to me and congratulating me instead of Nick.
And I completely understood why. You were the face of it, but I was like, they were like, "Oh, you're so funny." I was like, "I wrote the line."
Yeah.
I wrote it. Like, I am also funny. Like, we could both be funny.
I was just nodding my head like, "Thank you."
Yeah. Even thinking about when we filmed, and it's kind of like, I mean, it was just like an easy project to do because I don't really know what it was about that day, but it was just like you were able to deliver lines easily. But it was like you were talking to a camera, you weren't acting with another person, so it was easy just to get the lines out. It was easy to even say like, "Can we do that line again?" And because it's just like we were. It was just you. It was just
it still
you.
stands to this day. I would be down to do another Sully Burke
Yeah, yeah.
easily.
Same
like,
here.
It was a very fun character to play.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess people loved it, you
Yeah.
know. So it's like, oh, if that's the amount of acting I need to do, all right, I'll do that.
That was the type of. I remember Ryan. That character was really like. He's really just a character of one-liners, and he is like douchey. And I guess it's like I wrote him as what people would assume about you. Like at the first look of you as a big buff dude with like a backwards hat and I just wrote like what people assumed you would like. Like some guys is like, I get the ladies, trust me, or like an imbecile, like kind of like scattered brain, like yeah.
I think the creative process of Sully Burke was like the funnest I've ever had because it was. I remember we were making up jokes on the spot.
We were, yeah.
Yeah, and it was like, and to this day, I still laugh like as hard as I did like before.
Oh man, I feel like shit. I mean, I'm gonna say it anyways. I don't mean like feel like shit. I was just like, wow. I was like, we'll make an extended episode. Like, I checked the time. I was like, oh, we should wrap this up. I was like, no, I've been wanting to talk about Sully Burke for a while.
Okay.
I don't feel pressured. Also, we need to go back to you, whatever you're trying to talk about with our next video.
Are we over? Are we an hour?
Yeah, but
oh, okay.
The podcast. People could pause it, come back to it later. You know, don't act like you are in traffic right now for like hour and a half. All right.
And if you're not, what are you doing with your life? Get out there.
Or with just your background sound while you wash dishes. You know.
Oh man.
Which we could go on for 5 hours. But yeah. Sully Burke. I remember looking at the script and it was really interesting. I looked back at the script after we filmed it and found out like, wow, it was really different. Like I wrote the lines and I said like the idea has to be passed through with each scene, but you don't have to say the lines exactly like that. There's a rhythm to it, so it's like you could ad lib, but just don't extend too far past what I wrote, like the lengthwise. But anyways, like with the type of ad libbing and jokes we made up on the spot, playing around with what we had, the script's pretty different from the final product. Like the ending is different because we weren't sure how we wanted to end it. There's a joke that didn't get put in. There's even like a type of line that just wasn't even said at all because we liked something else better.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just really like working with what we had, and it really was fun to do. I remember the line like when you were looking at the shelf, I wanted you. It was really just supposed to be a first aid kit.
Yeah.
And when there was supposed to be like show there was condoms in the first aid kit and like slowly zoom in while you're talking. But it was like we didn't have the first aid kit and we didn't get the condoms. So I thought this other joke like, oh, dude, wait, what if we just like jump over to when you throw the ball and then like it hits you? But it's like you look through the shelf and someone on our set said like when you look through the shelf, start like the first thing's correct and everything else is technically wrong. Like when you found those like I don't know, those types of straps.
Yeah,
like tubings, and you called them the guy on set said called them surgical tubing.
Yeah.
Like Sully Burke thinks of surgical tubing over there, and even like the ball you threw up, we were like volleyball. It was actually like not a volleyball, or I think it was, but technically whatever. I keep saying technically.
I do like there's one joke in there that I'm glad it went through where we had the popcorn inside the fanny pack because like some of you don't know this, some of the jokes are not real events, but they're inspired by real events. Like so in my first job, a lot of lifeguards would have snacks inside their fanny packs when they shouldn't. But
yeah, because you're supposed to hold like emergency stuff.
Exactly.
Like what do they call it? Not a breathalyzer, but
no, it's a mask. Just
it's a breathing mask, or some bandages. Not fucking popcorn.
One-way valve mask, whatever. But I always wanted to put that in somewhere, that joke somewhere, because it's like that's totally what Sully Burke would do. Right, that's totally how he would go through with that.
Yeah. And even like the way that scene ended after the popcorn thing, and it went like, so we're just gonna keep rolling. And I cut it off. Like it really, that was something on the spot too, because everything was written, but we were like, how exactly do we cut away? How exactly do we end this moment? And a lot of things were just like on the fly like that.
Yeah. Was the real quick? Was the rescue my idea or your idea?
That was my idea.
That was brilliant.
Oh, thank you.
it was like I can't. That's one of my favorite scenes because it's just like going in and then like turning around and then my realization and Ron just perfectly just
yeah. You know what I find really funny too, like how they actually took 2 takes, because I like I said, so everyone here wasn't a actor, and I gave someone direction. His name is it's Ron. He's in the credits.
What's up, Ron?
Yeah,
Hi, Ron.
He's in the credits. People know who it is. But I give Ron a direction, like, all right, you gotta go in the pool, and you gotta act like you're drowning, okay? And you remember, well, you were all dry, and I'm like, Azero, you need to put your hand up above your eyes, like you're looking out, like, what's that? You know, and then you jump in, and you do it. You look out, and I go to Ron, and he's not drowning. He's just he's just floating there, treading water, and then you jump in, like, no, and so then you're wet before, like in the actual film, you are wet before jumping in, and no one questions it.
Yeah, no one.
But then I also believe that when you swam back, and I was like, all right, Ron, you gotta drown once he gets all the way to the edge. You get to the edge. I go to Ron. He's not drowning. I'm like, Ron, this is all one take. It's like I can edit around it, but please, there's movements that needs to be done here.
It was like, it was perfect, man. I wouldn't have done it any other way.
Yeah. That was the real fun thing about it, and even, you know, maybe it'll be a tale for another time to go further into it. But it's just like the filming of that. Every time I think about how it was filmed, I'm like, nothing should have worked out, you know, with how last minute a lot of things were, and the time that we had.
Yeah.
You know, I will leave that on a cliffhanger, because, you know, someone did tell me, like, you know, you should talk more about your on-set experiences.
Yeah.
Next episode. We'll start off just talking about, like, the production of Soleil Burke, and I would love to tell the production of all my projects.
That's exactly what I was gonna say, because, like, I feel like not many people know about, but wait, there's more. You know, Soleil Burke. Those are the only 2 that
even like why coffee was made, and why when it came out we look significantly different. Like, that's a story I'd love to share. Basically, like, coffee was one joke from a short film, and I don't mean like short like 5 minutes. It was like 30 minutes long, and it just didn't pan out. But, you know, I would love to tell a story, because we need to share the failures just as much, because we're not succeeding all the time. We don't finish all the time. Yeah.
Oh man, now I'm excited for that. Now that we got something to talk about next week, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, that is the end of this podcast. Thank you again so much for you guys' support.
Yes, thank you for listening, and also for all the continued support. Thank you.
Yes, we are only trying to get better, and with you guys' support, that's all we're striving to do.
So now we say it. Toodaloo, scootaloo.
That you're gonna say it. I'm not.
I did just say it.
All right, good. Well, that's not my thing.
Catchphrase.
He's gonna. You're trying so hard to make that a thing.
Well, if I say it enough times, it's a catchphrase. I should tell you.
If you say it hasn't been recording the whole time.
No, it's been recording this whole time. But I should tell you, before this episode, I was sucking on a cough drop, honey flavored. And it just, like, when it was still pretty big, just shot straight down my throat. This whole time recording, I was afraid. I can still feel it. And burps feel like they're plugged up. I was afraid that we would have live recording of me burping up a whole cough drop, and we would hear like the little like, you know, knocks on my teeth, little rolls around like it's like a pair of dice in a cup. And
were you in a hurry?
No, I wasn't in a hurry, but I was like, damn, this would be great for some. This is what you need to get recorded right here. It's just like, you guys, that's how you get 2 cough drops in one. Right there. And that's how you kill 2 birds with 1 stone. That's how you use it.
I'm done. That's it.
Yeah,
That's all I had to
cool.
say.